And hello, good evening. I am Dr. Newman, and this is your voice. And I must tell you, last night was a bit of a fiasco, but I think we got everything all sorted out. Thank you very much. I spent this morning a few hours trying to untangle the knots. Last night we tried to do this show, and we had a bunch of technical difficulties, including the phones and of kind of the audio that was coming in from our guest. So we decided to go ahead and do this today. And now that everything is in order, we're going to get started. We're going to talk about motivation this evening and how it comes about, how to control it, how to increase it, and how to use it across all spectrums of interests, let's just say. And I'm going to bring in a guest. His name is Bruno. He was on last night, but you couldn't hear him. But now he's ready to roll. So I'm going to bring him in now. Let's not mess around anymore. By the way, thank you very much for tuning in if you're sitting out there watching this. And for those of you that are going to replay this later, thank you for watching it later on too. So let's get started here. Let's bring Bruno in. There he is.
What's going on?
Hey, give me a 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me just hear your voice. Is everything working okay?
Check 1, check 2, check 3, check 4.
Okay, check. Shut up. Okay, we're done with that. We got it. All right, very good. All right, so how's your day been? You looking forward to this? Because I know that you were excited about doing this last night. It was kind of disappointing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
All right, that's good.
Let's get it.
All right, let's do that. Bruno is a certified fitness trainer. He's got a bunch of clients that he usually just leaves and travels somewhere. And I've heard the complaints, Bruno, so don't tell me that no one cares, okay? They do. Hey, he's been off to Peru for a while. He went to Costa Rica for a while and then returned back to get back into the groove and help his clients get fit, teaches them things along the way. And we talk every so often about motivation and discipline and how to get stuff done. And Bruno at times has woken up in the morning at 4 o'clock in the morning every so often. You've got clients coming in early in the morning, don't you?
Very early.
Very early, I know. I ain't one of them, that's for damn sure.
We tried that once.
That did not work well, did it? Nevertheless, tell us a little about yourself, Bruno. How'd you end up becoming a fitness instructor, and what gets you rolling?
Yeah. Yes, so pretty much just kind of out of necessity, right? And that's kind of where that spark of motivation came from. It was kind of like I had to take back control of my health, or my life was going to go in a different direction and I wasn't going to be in control. It all started when I was about 17 years old. I was very depressed, didn't really know what to do, kind of hit a rock bottom and turned to my doctors for help. And immediately was placed on antidepressants. So within about, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks of taking those, started to notice, my mood improved. I was, happy, but I was too happy, to where it wasn't normal. I would just, look at something like a tree and think it's so beautiful and just kind of break down in tears. And
you were kind of euphoric.
Yeah,
a bit euphoric would be there. Yeah,
exactly. Everything was vibrant, but you could tell this is too much. This isn't normal. So couldn't get to the doctor for a few days. And myself and my mother kind of came to the conclusion we need to start lowering the dose of this medication. The issue there is you can't just like manipulate the dose of an antidepressant. And the bigger problem there was the medication that I was taking. It was a generic medication, and the chemicals are not uniformly spread throughout generic medication. So you might think that you're cutting a pill in half, getting half of a dose, but there's really no telling, how much medication is in that half of medicine that you cut.
Well, yeah, that's true. Let me add something to that too. a lot of generics, there's guidelines from the Federal Drug Administration, the FDA, and they state that a brand name medication, let's say you were taking a brand name like Prozac, for instance, a generic that's pretty well known, and they make a lot of generics for Prozac. There's a lot of different manufacturers that produce that medication. And because of that, the FDA has allowed a certain margin of error between generic medications compared to the brand name. And the margin of error is 10% plus or minus. So that means you can go to a pharmacy and go ahead and pick up a generic form of Prozac, which could be 10% more than the brand name. Then you go off to another pharmacy and pick up another generic, which is from a different manufacturer, and it can be 10% less. So now you've got a swing of 20% between two generic brands, and that could change a lot about what's going on with you while you're taking that medication. So it's important that people are aware of that kind of thing when they're moving or they're changing pharmacies, or they notice they're getting a pill that doesn't quite look the same as what they've gotten before, and now they're not doing as well. Things can change. So go on. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's
Yeah, yeah. So
side.
essentially, some of the symptoms that came along with that, I wasn't sleeping. I did not sleep for 12 days. You can imagine what kind of problems come along with that, hallucinating, all sorts of crazy delusional thoughts.
This was while you were taking the medication.
Yeah, so this was in that
Okay.
time frame where we tried to
Right.
lower that dose,
Right.
and my whole reality was just completely warped. So eventually
Right.
that kind of spun out of control to where actually a good friend of mine, his mom had been observing this for the
Mhm.
past couple weeks, and
Right.
she just knew something was wrong. She actually came to my work one night,
Mhm.
removed me from my job that I was working at, and kind of had a small little family intervention. And then I was taken to the emergency room where they pretty much had to just sedate me for 24 hours so that I could get some sleep. And then from there it was an ambulance ride over to a psychiatric facility. I believe it was called Aurora Behavioral Health,
Mhm.
and I spent a month there, in that rehabilitation process. It was a
Right.
very weird environment for me. Most of the children in there were, I mean, they were in there for like recreational drug use. They were, a lot of these kids were like delinquents. I was looking for help from my doctors, and
Right.
things spun out of control. And then I wind up in this place. And like I said, my reality was so warped. I didn't have a sense of time.
Right.
Sometimes hours felt like days, and that
Sure.
questioning the staff there, when do I get to go home? When can I leave here? And when your sense of time is warped and they honestly don't know when they can let you go,
Right.
it's a very I don't even know how to describe that feeling.
You
So
were
essentially,
frightened.
yeah, it's so many things.
Right.
And after about a month there, I was released from that facility.
Mhm.
Keep in mind in that time frame, I was in my junior year of high school. I was, ripped out of school. I was, active with a group of my buddies. We had like a garage band that we actually were practicing inside one of the band rooms at the school. So my whole life was just kind of put on pause, and I was removed from, everything that I had going on. So it was a
Right.
very very weird time in my life, and
How long were you in there for, by the way?
it was about a month,
That's a long time.
but to understand, I was my sense of reality was so warped. It took me a while to even realize, holy crap, I haven't been in school, right? I
Right.
haven't been going to school. I haven't seen my friends. I haven't talked to my friends. I wonder what they think's going on. So
Sure.
um, leaving that facility, now I was, diagnosed with bipolar disorder, manic depression. I was given more medications, and really handed this identity of, a mentally ill person. So
Sure.
17 years old, I have the whole world around me telling me I'm sick. Um, and at first I'm just pushing back, like, no, I don't want to believe that.
Right.
And then I struggled for about 3 years, going from different medications, trying to find like the right medication.
Sure.
And then one day I just realized, hey, this is not going to change. And
Right.
no one's coming to save me. So if I don't figure this out, if I don't find a way to take control of my health, like, this is going to be my life forever. And that's
Right.
really where that motivation, that seed of motivation stemmed from.
Hmm.
It was me against everyone, and I either could live life on their terms or take a chance and, create my own life and build
Right.
myself back up. And that's what it took for me. That was my why. That was my motivation to start eating better, to start exercising.
Hmm.
Eventually that evolved into, putting some more weight on. I believe I was only 107 pounds when I got out of that hospital, and I put on 30 pounds in about 8 months of working out. But I reached another point where I realized, hey, I'm getting hurt in the gym a lot. I don't
Right.
really know what I'm doing. So then, I have some more motivation to start educating myself, about fitness and about these things. And, that kind of led into meeting other people where, a good friend of mine was actually a certified personal trainer. He said, hey, you should get certified now. You've come this long. Maybe you can use this to, help other people. So
Right.
that's pretty much where it all started.
How hard was it for you to get certified?
So for me, like I said, um, I was removed from school, when I was 17, so
Right.
I wasn't used to, like, opening up a book and studying, and I didn't have
Right.
motivation to ever do that at all, ever. So, I think I studied for 4 months,
Yeah.
4, 6 hours a day, and then it
Right.
was going and taking a test. But for me to sit down with a book for 4 to 6 hours a day, that was definitely a feat for me at that age.
How'd you get motivated to do that without knowing that your academic history was a bit tarnished, you might say?
I think it was, you read a little bit and, thinking about some of the struggles that I had in the gym, you're like, you learn about something, you're like, oh, that's why that's happening, and then you read a little bit more, and then you start to see these different areas of your life improve, and you're getting satisfaction from learning these things and applying them, and you start to snowball and build up some momentum.
Right.
And then also just from the beginning, me wanting to take back control, I think it was I had something to prove, right? I had to prove to, all the doctors that told me, I'd be on medication forever. I'd be lucky if I lived, a normal life and held a decent job. And I had to prove everybody wrong. That I think that's where a lot of that motivation stemmed from.
Really? Did you ever see those doctors again, by the way?
Years and years later, my primary physician that had, initially put me on those antidepressants,
Right.
I think I went to him for something where I was having trouble focusing, right?
Right.
And, during that transition time when I was getting off those medications, Arizona had just started to implement the medical marijuana program, and
Right.
that was something that, helped me wean myself off those meds. So I went to my
Right.
doctor and told him, "Yeah, I can't focus because I think this is when I enrolled into audio engineering school. So now I'm back in school for something that I, am interested in, but I'm having trouble focusing." So he recommended, to prescribe me Adderall. And
Hmm.
I remember having a conversation with this physician in his office about he would rather prescribe me amphetamines versus, he's asking me, well, what helps you focus? I said, well, I have my medical marijuana card. That helps me focus a little bit,
Right.
you
Right.
know.
Right.
We were kind of in a debate what was safer, him prescribing me Adderall or me going to the dispensary, and kind of taking things a little bit more natural route. So that was the next time that I ran into him, and that was the last time I ever, reached out to that guy for help.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds like a good decision on your part. Not bad. The um, the fact that you ended up training, how'd you end up getting started? Who was your first client, and what was that like for you, by the way?
So, when I first got certified, I went to this private studio in Gilbert,
Yeah.
that my buddy was working at, and
Right.
it was just like, you know, friends, family coming in, had
Hmm.
no idea what I was doing. I was basically, privately contracted right off the bat, so
Sure.
I realized I was, treading water, wasn't gonna make it in that studio. I had to kinda go, reach out to a commercial gym, get hired, cut my teeth, and, work my way up. So
Sure.
the problem there is, when you're freshly certified, you don't have any experience, but when you go to a commercial gym, they're looking for 2 years of experience.
Hey,
You
you
know,
caught
you
between a
gotta
rock and a hard place, huh?
you gotta find a gym that's willing to take you on and, give you a chance. So eventually I got hired onto a gym in South Chandler. It was called Fitness Works.
Yeah.
And there was a fitness manager that would sell the personal training and then, match up, the clients with the trainers. So, you know, not having any experience, I kind of got, I didn't really get the good picks. So I remember the
Sure.
first client that was passed on to me from the fitness manager, and she could smell how fresh I was. You could tell, she was very uneasy about letting me take her out onto the floor and take her through a workout. And I think the first exercise we did, it was just like a basic, hammer curl with some dumbbells. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she had a talk with the fitness manager after that session because she asked for a different trainer.
But you rose above that. How were you feeling dejected after that? Did you say to
Not
yourself, I'm not gonna
necessarily.
make it, this is gonna be tough?
Yeah, not necessarily. I think the most intimidating thing for me was the whole idea, the concept of this gym was it's like a 10,000 square foot facility. There's gym memberships, and then there's also people that utilize trainers. So the idea
Right.
is someone comes in and asks for personal training or a membership, and then you set them up with like a fitness assessment and essentially try to sell them personal training,
Sure.
or you just kind of walk the gym floor and shake hands and meet people and gain some friends and kind of through that rope someone into a fitness assessment and try to sell them personal training. So
Right.
going up to people, being someone that is pretty introverted,
Yeah.
it was challenging to go do that, right? And not having the confidence, I mean, I'd gotten myself to a point where I put on some weight, and
Right.
um, the reality though is like I really didn't know what I was doing. Just because you have a certification doesn't really qualify you, to go out and do that. And then
Right.
back then in the gyms, typically the fitness manager would take on the newer trainers and try to teach them how to sell, right? But it was
Sure.
more salesy like and
Right,
less
exactly.
less like what I do now where I just, someone comes in, they tell me what, where they're at. I kind of paint a picture of how to get them to where they want to be. I'm not really selling things. I'm just helping people. So that was kind of the hard part to overcome was figuring
Right.
out how do I sell these people? Because they can, everyone has a bullshit detector. They
Sure
know
they
they
do.
know you're trying to sell them something. So it
Right.
was just literally hundreds and hundreds of no's, sitting down with people, spending an hour with them, taking them through a workout, educating them,
Mhm.
just no after no after no after no. And then finally starting to, get a client here, get one there, get a referral from a client here or there. And then next thing I know, after a year of being inside of that gym, I, had created a six-figure business inside of that gym.
Right.
But since the commission structure there was they took a large percentage of what I was making, I was so
Mhm.
young, I didn't really understand what I had just accomplished because my checks weren't a reflection of my success.
Sounds like they took advantage of you there, Bruno.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. But
That's
they
how
gave
you
me a
cut
shot,
your teeth
right?
on this stuff, don't you?
Yeah.
Mhm. I know. That's interesting.
So to tie into that real quick, I think a lot of personal trainers get started because they realize they have a passion for fitness, and usually
Right.
it comes from maybe a story similar to mine. They're overcoming some health issues,
Right.
but I think the other side of that is it takes time to develop the passion to help other people, and that's what's going to push you through the beginning stages of it.
Yeah, so let's talk about the passion. Let's talk about the fact that when you see changes um, that have been um, assisted by you, along with the motivation of your clients to continue to come back and deal with the aches and the pains and the cramping and all that kind of stuff that happens maybe the day or two after and so on. What is it that you think keeps them coming back? Is it your charm? What is it?
I think it's a lot. I think it's a lot of aspects
I
there,
thought you
right?
were going to bite for that and you didn't bite. Why didn't you bite? What's wrong with you? Okay.
I think, for face value, it's the
Yeah.
fact that most of these people,
Yeah.
they're not coming into the gym if they don't have an appointment, right?
Right.
So, the other thing is they literally don't know what they're doing, and if it might sound bad, if they're smart, they won't go do it by themselves because they know they're going to get hurt, right? Or maybe in the
Right.
past they've gotten hurt. So they know that, hey, when I go work out with Bruno, he's there, he's waiting for me. I can't let him down. And I know he's not going to lead me in a direction where I'm going to get hurt. And I need to, stay on this path of consistency. So then you have that, that charm or that personality, that connection, the friendship that you're building with that person. So there's a lot of different layers to it, but you also got to lead by example too, right? I can't show up there with a burrito in my hand, or looking like I'm not getting enough sleep, or not
Yeah.
taking care of myself. So I think a lot of these people are drawn towards, they see someone that's in shape, that they're looking sharp, they're ready to go, they're on point, and that energy draws that person that realizes they're in a spot where I'm not on point, I'm not in shape, I'm not getting good sleep. I need to surround myself with someone that has what I want, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So what kind of, let's, I'm in the helping field myself. And there is a sense of gratification that comes when I see my patients do well, whether it be by my guidance or by their own. There's a bunch of patients that'll come to me and they'll tell me, hey, listen, I did this, this, and this. I didn't tell them to do that. They go ahead and off, they go off and they do it. And then they come back to me and they say, you know what, it worked. And I'm going, that's awesome. That's absolutely fantastic. Well, my patients educate me as much as I educate them, right?
Yeah,
They know themselves. They know themselves better than I know them for the most part. And I think that the need to progress and kind of remorph and reinvent yourself is a powerful motivator for people.
it is.
People that sit back and let's change this for a second. Let's say, for instance, um, let's turn this biological for a second, just for a moment, so I can make a point. You've got someone out there that's doing a lot of meth, or doing a lot of coke, or doing a bunch of opiates, whatever the case might be. What are they chasing? They're chasing a high. Simply put, what they're doing is they're feeding their dopamine needs. And those dopamine needs far surpass what they would normally do is a day-to-day routine. So in other words, if they're bumping up their dopamine levels to an extent that's far beyond what they're used to experiencing, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to chase it some more. And they're going to continue to do what they've been doing, whether or not it's in their best interest, because the dopamine chemicals need that. The receptors are craving that at this point. And it continues to motivate them to go ahead and pursue that some more, right? Their day-to-day lives will never be able to match that level of dopamine. It's just not going to happen unless they go ahead and they chase that high. So what do they need to do? They need to rearrange their lives to the extent that they kind of, I don't know if this is a good word, but I'm going to use it anyway, detox off those high dopamine levels to reorganize what's going on with them chemically. They need to go ahead and become bored for a day, 2 or 3, or whatever it is. Stay away from the things that are getting you high, whether it be a drug, whether it be sitting down and staring at your phone 12 hours a day, right? Being on social media. I mean, here we are, we're on social media. But the point is, I'm hoping that we're able to reach some people to say, hey, listen, if you're doing something that's not productive for you enough, and you find that when you put your phone down, or you stop doing the meth, or you can't find the next fentanyl, then you've got to ask yourself the question, are you heading down the right path? Right? Are you heading in the right direction? And what do you need to do to reorganize yourself and reinvent yourself? When you take a look around and you're ignoring things, or things are becoming too hard for you to do, like make your bed in the morning, or eat a reasonable breakfast, or get to sleep at a reasonable hour, or get to the gym to work out, right? Stop eating M&Ms with almonds. That's a personal joke. Anyway, the point being is the fact that you've got to get off that to reorganize and downregulate those receptors, so to speak, so that you find a new normal. You need to find a new normal, to the extent that now when you go to the gym to work out and you see progress, that bumps your dopamine levels up to the extent that you appreciate now what's going on. Am I saying stay off social media? No. Am I saying don't have a drink? No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there are positive reinforcements to assist you in rewarding a good job done during the day, right? So when I go to work and I see my patients during the day and I get a mild buzz off a patient that's doing well, that's a jolt of dopamine for me. I'm feeling pretty good, right? And I put a good day's work in, what happens? I get up, I grab my bag, I head to the gym, I work out. You embarrass me, you insult me, and I don't give a damn, because I'm feeling good about what I'm doing. I'm motivated to feel good again, because what I did was I regulated my norms, and I'm giving myself these rewards because I had a good day. And that dopamine level offers me that moment. Does it mean I can't go out and have a glass of tequila? No, not at all. I can do this. But we do what's productive for us. We try to replace those bad habits with good ones. Do you agree with this this theory or this philosophy based on what you do?
Yeah, and I think I kind of figured out how to do that by myself in terms of, so there's something that I implement called a power list, right? So a power
Yeah.
list would be 5 critical tasks that I need to get done,
Right.
and then once those are done, I can do whatever I want, I can.
That's interesting. That's like awesome. And I'll tell you why that's awesome. What you just said was really critical. Here's why. Because your 5 tasks were done before you rewarded yourself.
Yep.
That's the key. Because if you go off and you reward yourself first and you get those dopamine levels up, what's the point of going ahead and getting through those 5 tasks? Those are hard tasks. I'm sure your 5 tasks could be defined as being boring, but they're productive because you've got to get them done. And if you do those 5 tasks the way you're supposed to, then you reward yourself. Am I right?
Yeah, well, and then you also start to look as a completion of a task, you understand, you get a feeling of, that dopamine hit too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's rewarding to get one thing done, because now you only have 4 things, and then that's done, and now you only got 3 things. And then
Mm-hmm.
the next thing you know, you get to write a W on the page, you won the day, right? If you need to start with something as simple as like making your bed, brushing your teeth, writing down 3 things you're grateful for, reading 10 pages out of a book, and maybe walking your dog. If you have to start that simple,
All right.
that's how you build momentum, and then you have the ebb and flow of everyday life, where as long as you're getting those tasks done, you might be, in one of those valleys, but getting that list done every day helps you pick yourself back up into one of those peaks, so basically your valleys are smaller, and you can
Mm-hmm.
maintain those peaks a little bit longer.
Sure. Exactly. I do the same thing every day. I grind it out. I'm like a machine. You know that.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I get through the day. I'm tired by the time I'm finished. And I could very easily say, hey, Newman, you don't need to go to the gym today. Okay, just chill out. Sit back. Go watch TV. There's something good on Netflix. It's all good, right? But I don't, because it's become a routine for me. It is now my new norm to be able to plug that in, just like I do brushing my teeth or eating my breakfast, right? If I didn't do it, I wouldn't feel right at all. But I also take a look at what it's done for me in terms of my strength and my physique and my energy levels and so on and so forth. And because of that, I see a benefit to what I'm doing. There's a reward, there's a goal. And to have a goal and understand why you have that goal is important. What do you think?
Yeah, it's very important. And if you have to write down that why, that goal every day, and if you have to look at it every day, if that's what it takes, you have to be leading with that intention, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Have you ever decided to? I got to tell you a story. I got to tell you a story. It was hilarious. I was a chief medical officer at a bunch of hospitals, and we were having a meeting. And the round table, the conference table was filled with, I don't know, about a dozen people. And I was heading up the morning conference. And I'm talking to everybody. I'm going, what the hell are you guys doing? Why are you walking down the hallway, right? And then you go to your office, you walk by an office, you get in your office, you get on the computer, and you email the guy in the office next to you. What the hell's all that about, right? And they're looking at me, and their eyes are rolling, and they're going, what's Newman up to now? What's all this crap? What's he doing, right? And everybody's dead silent and looking at me. I go, here's what we're going to do for a week. And they're staring, and they're going, what? And I go, no more emails for a week. Everything that goes on in this hospital, you're going to walk down the hallway, you're going to carry that piece of paper. Instead of attaching it to an email, you're going to go in, talk to the person, put it on their desk, have a conversation, and go back to your office. We can't do that. They went, great. We can't do that. What are you doing here? This is sacrilege. You can't be doing this to us. I go, you guys are so dependent on all this stuff, man. This is ridiculous. You guys don't even talk to each other anymore. This is silly, right? And they're going, oh man, you're such a pain in the butt. I go, do it for 5. Okay, just do it for the week, okay? I don't know, man. And someone asked me, well, what about emails from outside the building that are coming in? Can we email them? And I go, of course you can. You can email them, that's fine. And some dude sitting at the other end of the table raises his hand. He goes, I got a question. I go, what's that? He goes, well, how about if I go out to the parking lot and I go ahead and email the people that are in this hospital? Can I do that? Get the hell out of the room right now. You're out of here, right? You're done. Everybody burst out laughing. You know how long this lasted for? About 2 hours. They could not do it. They just, no way could they do it. And people are into, I'm wondering, it's like, how many hours do you spend on your phone?
Yeah.
Just surfing the internet or on your computer, right? What do you think? What's your guesstimate?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I mean, I get reminders every Sunday. I think it said average 3 hours a day last Sunday on my phone.
Right. 3 hours a day. Yeah.
And that was down 30% from the week before.
Are you actually physically working on this right now?
Oh, to lower it?
Yes.
Not consciously, but you see me on the gym, controlling the music, reaching out to clients, like it is necessary, but at the same time, yeah, we're all guilty. We're scrolling on, social media platforms. We're consuming this stuff. We're draining our bucket of dopamine, just liking and commenting and flipping through stories. So It's insane how much time we spend on our phones.
Yeah, and all that time that we spend could be used for productive motivation. But the dopamine rush is getting us distracted to the point where everything else is boring. It's too hard to do. It's become to the point where it's getting difficult to just go ahead and, like you said, make your bed in the morning. Because if you're picking up your phone and you're distracted with your accounts and your emails and and all the messaging that you're getting, what are you going to do? It's easier to sit down and just stare at your computer or look at your phone than it is to go make your bed. And people tell me all the time, I'm not motivated. I have no energy. Wait. Let's define what that is, right? Let's define what no energy is. What does that mean? I'm tired. What does that mean? There's two kinds of tired. You've got mental fatigue and physical fatigue. Am I right? Mental and physical fatigue. All right. So let's say you have mental fatigue because you've had a tough day. And you say to yourself, you know what? I am tired. Okay. You have to define that for yourself. You got to say, okay, did I get enough sleep last night? Am I physically tired? Or is it just been a tough day for me and I'm mentally fatigued? You can figure this one out. All you got to do is get your ass up, go off, and we're going to use you as an example, go off to the gym. And when you get there and you begin to work out and you're capable of doing it, guess what? It's not physical fatigue anymore. It's mental fatigue because you're capable of doing it. Now, on the other hand, if you get to the gym and you didn't have a good night's rest and you don't feel as strong and you can't do this physically, you know what it is. You blow it off because you don't want to hurt yourself, or you lower your reps, or you keep your weight down, right? And you get through it. And you go, get to sleep, get a good 9 hours. You know me, 9 hours and 6 minutes, man. I'm optimal. I'm in good shape.
9-hour Newman.
Exactly, man. Exactly. So it's like, okay, if you can define what it is that's keeping you from being motivated in terms of your fatigue, you can deal with this. But at least you know what the heck is going on, right? Tune in that insight and ask yourself the right questions before you step out and do something, or figure out what it is and then motivate yourself to get up and find out and go do it. Agreed?
Agreed. Yeah, you got to check in with yourself. You got to pry yourself away from that phone and check in with yourself.
Exactly. Look, I talk to many patients, Bruno, and I tell them, they sit around, they've got some extra weight, and they're complaining of back pain. They're complaining of being fatigued. They can't get up. They can't get going. And I try to get them going by doing something slow for them. Go for a walk. Get off your butt. Get outside early in the morning and go for a 20-minute walk. Do it every day. Just do it every day. That's it. And it's really surprising how people over a period of a month, they'll tell me the next time they visit with me, hey, Doc, I lost 10 pounds. I go, you lost 10 pounds in a month. All you did was get up off your butt and walk down the street for 20 minutes? Yeah. And then because I was doing that, I was watching what I was eating. And one domino after another falls. And now they're seeing progress. And because they're seeing progress and they're seeing changes, they continue to be motivated to do the same thing. They've changed some bad habits of staring at their computer or staring at Netflix all day long or watching Oprah and whatever they're doing during the day, and now getting up and doing some things, right? There are people that are having a tough time just going out right now because they've been transitioned over the past couple of years to not do it. And now they're having a really tough time transitioning to getting out and doing things.
Well, now everything comes to you, right? You can
Right.
order a meal to your door. You can order your groceries to your door.
Exactly. You can see your doctor on the computer, right? But the point is that that's convenient. All this is perfectly convenient, but that doesn't mean that you have to stop being productive and taking good care of yourself. You know? Correct.
Yeah.
All right. How are you doing? You're not taking any medications now.
I know. When I stopped, so it was from 17 to 20 years old. That's when I was on the meds. When I made that decision to stop, that was it. I think anything that I've tried to take after that, I'll get some sort of side effect where it'll like just give me a headache or something. Like my body rejects it. It's like I reached a point to where, I mean, because we're all human, right? We go through bouts of, mild depressions or, we don't feel good, but
All right.
I can never get to that level again. My body won't let me get to that level again. And I know that um, going to bed at the same time, trying to wake up at the same time, eating healthy, exercising, that's my medicine, right? Learning, educating myself, growing, that's what keeps me feeling good. Something that I heard once is happiness is not a place, it's a system that you put in place. So every day it is my obligation to keep that system moving. And when that system kind of goes stale, I got to
Mhm.
figure out a new one or modify some things.
Hey, that can happen, couldn't it? That can happen. It's like anything else. You hit a plateau.
Yeah,
When
you
you
get
hit
used
that
to it.
plateau, you get used to it. All of a sudden, you become tolerant and you need to change things up, right? But that doesn't mean you need to go off and do something destructive.
No.
You just got to figure out what's the best thing for you, right? Um, who do you follow? Who's one of your idols when it comes to motivation and keeping yourself on track?
Yeah, so one of the biggest people that I could say that had a really big influence in my life,
Mm,
his name's Andy Frisella. He owns a supplement company,
yeah.
but initially I kind of made cross paths with what he was doing. He had a podcast called the MF CEO Project.
Mhm.
All right, and it was just about
I'm
personal.
not going to even try to define it. Go on.
So it's just about personal excellence. That's where I
Mhm.
pulled that power list
Yeah.
from. It's episode 107. It's called Win the Day, right? And
Right.
it's about winning the day. So Andy Frisella, he's got a friend that he does some things with. I read some of his books. His name's Ed Milet. Obviously the classic Tony Robbins,
Yeah.
reading Tony Robbins books. It's really cool nowadays that we have access to people on these platforms and the content that they put out. I feel like it was a little bit harder back, maybe when you were my age to find a mentor, right? You had to actually go meet the person and know the person. And
It was hard to knock on my neighbor's door when they lived in caves and had to dodge all the dinosaurs. Go on. I couldn't help that.
it's
Low hanging fruit for me. Good.
surrounding yourself with successful people can be as easy as getting on the internet,
Hmm.
picking up a book, something that I don't think a lot of people do nowadays. You have to invest into yourself.
Hmm. Agreed. Absolutely. So, what's on your agenda in the near future? What are you planning on doing?
The near future,
We have goals, right? We have
yeah,
goals.
I
You
definitely
have
have
goals.
goals.
Yeah, you have
Um,
goals.
I really would like at some point to build a gym in the right time, so that I
Hmm.
can, the idea behind that, providing a space and a quality environment, an
Yeah.
environment that I never really had the opportunity to experience as I was, working my, basically cutting my teeth, getting started as a personal trainer, jumping from gym to gym, trying to find the right situation.
Right.
And then being there, to help mentor these trainers that have this passion for fitness sparked, but need help developing that passion to help people, but also the hard skills to know how to help those people. And, just the healthy environment to you know, train their clients in.
So what's missing right now? What do you think
What
is missing?
what's missing out of that equation?
Just in general, when you take a look at the gyms, when you take a look at the people that are doing fitness and training others and trying to get them well, getting them healthy, what do you think is missing? What needs to change?
I think the biggest thing that needs to change is thinking about the, people don't have an outline or a structure for how they're going to run their business when they become personal trainers, right? They
Right,
don't understand who they're going to help,
right,
um, where the people that they want to help, where these people are, how they can connect with them.
right,
Um, they may not even have a real sense of how much work it's going to take. They might think that, hey, in a couple months I'll be off, you know, off to the races, you know. Um, the other thing there is quality equipment, you know,
right,
having a nice facility, you know,
right,
something that I see a lot is just people, they slap these gyms together and it might look good on the outside. It might be clean and brand new and shiny, but the
right,
quality of the equipment, you know, really isn't there.
right. You know, it's interesting because a lot of physicians, I wouldn't say a lot, a number of physicians have taken to a kind of, and they use this term loosely, kind of a holistic approach to helping people with their medical issues and so on and so forth. But most doctors are still basically dependent on their medications and writing prescriptions and all that other kind of stuff, and that is true. As you already know, because you have talked to me in the past, I built a hospital, and that hospital, it was designed um, with that in mind, with the fact that it's not just taking a pill, though it may be important depending on the pathology and how sick the person may be. But there's a lot of things going on in the hospital that was put into place to help with that kind of holistic approach to helping the patient out, with special curriculum and programs during the day, along with the gymnasium that was built within that facility, and lots of recreation and outdoor areas with basketball courts and volleyball courts and all kinds of things to keep people not just occupied, but investing in something new that they may not have done before. Some of those patients may never have been in the gym. And all of a sudden they're realizing, you know what? I'm actually sleeping better because I worked out today. My sleep is improving. This is good. We fed them great food. Their diets were very, very important. We had a nutritionist on staff that was constantly interviewing patients and making sure that they were getting what they needed based on their blood work and so on and so forth. So all of this stuff, I think, is really, really important. That's why we're talking today, because people do head off the rails and they need to find their way back again. But once they find their way back, they can't continue to live the life they were living before. They have to make these changes. They have to establish those goals, understanding why they're establishing those goals, and making sure the fundamentals are in place so they always have you can't build a home on mud. You have to build a home on a strong foundation of cement, and then you can move up from there. And that keeps everything in check, right? So if one beam falls, the foundation is still there. You can still build off it. You haven't, your arms and legs haven't completely fallen off. And it's so important to understand that and make sure that all those things are in place. So with that being said, we're running out of time. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, no, this was fun. I hope everyone enjoyed this too.
Yeah, that would be good too. That would be nice. We're going to do this again. Um, if you have some other things that you'd like to discuss, of course, you approach me and we'll figure out what we need to do. We can do this one more time. It's okay. And then next week, we'll be back again with something new. And I would like to be able to, thank everybody that had showed up today. And this is new, so we have still more to build. Again, like everything else, it's a process, just like you said. So we need to continue to build on this and allow this to kind of morph and organically grow. So thanks again. I appreciate you being here. And I will see you in the gym.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Take good care of yourself. Get some sleep.
I will.
Well, you got to wake up 4 o'clock in the morning tomorrow or no?
Bright and early.
There you go, dude. All right. I'll see you.
See ya.
Okay. That was Bruno, and he does a good job. And I wanted to share some of his insights with you guys and give you some idea of what makes a reasonably good fitness trainer and how to work with them. Look, he's been through a lot, and he's a great example of some of the patients that I have worked with in the past that have overcome adversity and with a degree of tenacity and goals and rearranging their lives and building something new for themselves, have succeeded in getting out of the kind of medical system, because it's tough. Once you enter the system, it's a hard fight to get out. So when my patients see me, I do everything I can to get them out of the system and working on their own to see the progress that they make. They need to be able to pat themselves on the back for the work they do. And I think that that's a very important component. Thank you again for joining. We will see you in a week. Stay well and take good care of yourselves.